Everybody, Chief Meteorologist Bill Walsh, Meteorologist Stephanie Sine. We are tracking Nicole. We do have a tornado warning that we just gave you the first alert to on the app here a moment ago. Do want to call your attention to this area. It's right down here. It's very close down toward Kiowa. What we're looking at, I'm going to get you a little bit closer here as we kind of zoom on in. So this area right here is what we're watching, okay? This is, we were watching some of this on the velocity coming in. It's probably a water spout, but it certainly could cause some damage moving onshore. That's why the tornado warning was issued. And again, we're going to keep an eye on this warning here for the next 15 to 20 minutes. Again, if you're down toward Kiowa Island, back on into Johns Island, be on the lookout for that. Let me go ahead and pull up some velocity right here and kind of show you what's going on as far as the system itself. So this area right here, see this little couplet right there? That's what we are looking at. I'm going to get a little bit closer. I'm going to zoom on in here just a little bit and show you where this is, what we're looking at, and get a little bit kind of right down to the street level here. Okay, there's this couplet right here. So again, we look for the green coming toward the radar, the red going away from the radar, this couplet right here. There's this Kiowa Island. So if you're on Kiowa, you should be in your safe spot because we could see some pretty gusty winds with this. Sometimes these can really do some low-level damage. It's as it comes on shore. So again, be on the lookout. Kiowa Island here in the next little while. Let me go ahead and kind of move this around here just a little bit. We're going to zoom out just a bit, and I will show you what's going on here. I'm going to back out. Again, this is Johns Island, and you can see this whole area down here in southern Charleston County is what we are looking at here for this tornado warning. And again, as it pushes toward the northwest, it continues to head in toward the beaches, and it's now just crossed the beach here as I get in a little bit closer. So again, if you are down here on Kiowa, or even over here toward Johns Island, we are going to be talking about this tornado, which could be a tornado on the ground as it heads toward Rhett's Bluff Road down toward the Kiowa Island Parkway, and then eventually maybe out toward River Road. So, this is the Betsy Carrison Parkway out here. So if you're in this area right here, you want to definitely be in your safe spot. Again, the lowest level of the house, away from windows, as we look at where the storm is. I'm going to back out here just a little bit. You can see these bands rotating onshore, again, coming in off the ocean. And that's why we've kind of been on again, off again with the broadcast tonight, jumping in and out whenever we have a tornado warning because of this reason. Some of these can spin up pretty quickly. Again, they can be smaller types of tornadic cells, but any kind of rotating storm like this, we continue to watch pretty carefully. Let me get you back over here toward right back over just a little further out here, just a little bit back over toward the southern Charleston County area right here. So Johns Island is really what we are looking for and looking at as far as that goes. And again, let me show you what the time in the expiration of this tornado warning. Again, this goes until 12:45. Again, it is for mostly southern Charleston County as we kind of take a look right there and get a little bit closer. If you are down in toward, say, Ravenel, Hollywood, you should be on the lookout for this. As you see, what that couplet is, probably was a waterspout coming on shore, again, pushing on up into Johns Island. And this is the path of the storm over the next, say, 15, 20 minutes or so as it pushes off to the north and west. Let me see if I can get a little bit of a track on this thing. Again, when you take a look at these storms, they can move rather rapidly. It's just moved onshore here at Kiowa, pushing off to the northwest at about 35 to 40 miles an hour. So if you are in, say, Hollywood at about 12:50, just kind of be on the lookout for that down River Road on Johns Island, back over down toward 162 in Hollywood, and pretty much in this cone right here, we are continuing to monitor. Let me kind of back out here and actually zoom out a little bit more and see if there are any more warnings out there. We do have some rotating cells. We're also looking at some hail depictions here on our storm tracks, but as we take a look at the future here, the future tracker, as I put this into motion, you'll see this, these lines, these bands of showers moving on through. So we have that one down there toward Kiowa. We are watching that one, and then we could see more of these during the overnight hours. Again, there's that wider shot right there. And as I back on out, we do have a tornado watch in effect. And again, there's the warning right there. But as I kind of zoom out, what's left of Nicole is to our south and west. So these bands now rotating around it can certainly cause a problem with these quick spin-ups that we see coming in off the ocean. And there's the center right there of Nicole, again, now a tropical depression. But we are in the sweet spot for tornadic cells because we are north and east of the center. That's where you see these bands, and that's where we typically see a tornado spin up. And again, that's that one right there that we're continuing to track. Let me see if I can't pull up the watch. Is the watch out there? Maybe not. Steph, I don't know if you can pull up that watch. Just to show you, we have the watch that goes until 1 o'clock in the morning. That's the warning right there as we look at that. Again, if you're down on Kiowa, Johns Island, take to your safe spot as we speak. Let me go ahead and kind of show you what that looks like back here. If we can go back to the, if you want to take control over there just real quick. Here we are, and as we take a peek at that warning area, again, is back right here toward the Kiowa area. As we zoom on in, there's Folly Beach down there. So it's actually further south. There it is. That is the whole watch area is right there in yellow. So again, this continues till about 1 in the morning, and I expect that to extend after that. And then the warning itself, which is right here, if you want to go back to the, to that, there we go. I'll pull that up right there. So this warning is what we are watching right here. Again, this is back over here toward between say Kiowa Island and Johns Island, and back up as you make your way just across the Stoner River. Let me pull up the velocity real quick and check on that couplet and just kind of see where it is. There it is, and looks like it's still a pretty good little couplet out there as we look at. These are the areas that we look for the inbound and the outbound wind from the radar site. So again, this is the velocity. This is the couplet. Not a very impressive one at this point. Looks like it was a little more impressive earlier, but it does show there is some rotation. So again, this right here, as you take a look at Maybank Highway, again, coming out of James Island, be on the lookout if you are down on Johns Island, down along River Road, down along Maybank Highway. You should be in your safe place just in case this thing comes up your way. Again, it could cause some damage. So a lot of times these are fast spin-ups, and we can have an EF0, even an EF1 tornado that could move on through. We had one actually very similar to this a couple of years ago that came on through. It ended up being 135 mile an hour wind. I believe that was an EF2 at the time, and that did some damage along Brownswood Road and back down along River Road. But again, so we are watching. That's why we're pretty. We have to watch these very, very carefully. As you see, again. This storm as it can spin up very, very quickly. I'll back out here just a little bit, and you can see that onshore flow that continues all the way back into the southern Charleston County area. That'll move up into parts of Dorchester County as well. In fact, as we zoom on in here just a little bit, let me just kind of show you. There's the Folly area. There's the warning that we've been talking about. But this whole area right here, really between, say, Kiowa Island all the way back on up into the western edges of southern Charleston County and then on up into Dorchester County. Again, this is the Ravenel area all the way back down toward Hollywood, out toward say Adams Run, Megget, and again that'll push on into the Dorchester County area. This area has a lot of heavy rain with it. There's even some lightning out there, and we are looking at some convection out there as we take a look at the convective possibilities of these cells. They're definitely being more convective in nature. In other words, they're more thunderstorms, developing in this instability. The instability in this part of the atmosphere has been growing over the last few hours because there's higher dew points, and we're kind of in this warm sector of this tropical system that's kind of weakening. Even though it's a depression now, we still see, as we zoom on in here, you can see there's still at least a broad couplet right here on into Johns Island. Let me go ahead and zoom in once again and show you where this is as it pushes off to the, looks like northwest at about 40 miles an hour. Anything on the chat with this?
Moving northwest at 25 miles.
It's now 25 miles an hour. So there it is, moving northwest at 25. And again, you can see right there, this is Maybank Highway back on out toward, let me get a little bit closer here. Down toward River Road, there's Bohicket Road right there. And again, as you look back in this area right here, you should definitely be in your safe spaces as we take a peek at some of these roads that are like the Bird's Nest Road back over that way. As you make your way down, say, Bears Bluff Road, this is over there toward Wadmalaw Island. So this right there shows you where the center of this, if this is a rotating storm, which it looks like it is, it may or may not be coming all the way down to the ground. So as we zoom on out, let me zoom out here just a little bit. I'll zoom out just a bit. And again, there it is. You can see there are a couple of these actually. Is Stephanie's mic hot? Is your mic hot, Steph?
That is right now,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, there you
Thank
are.
you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Steph, looks like there's a couple of, if you look at some of these, it looks like there's a couple.
A few little blips of almost
yeah.
just a little bit of rotation. Yeah, it does. It does. Guys, if you could put max 3 behind us here in the weather center area, that would be great. But yeah, I also have that pulled up as well. Like we said, still tracking this bit of a warning. And, Bill, we were watching this kind of form over the Atlantic Ocean. Probably was a water spout. We were kind of looking at it, and then finally we saw that warning pop up. And it has weakened a bit, kind of broadened as it moved over land. We saw it move over parts of Kiowa, over parts of Johns. Now we're starting to see it right over Maybank Highway, a busy spot. A lot of folks live in that area, so know your safe space. Once again, guys, if you could put max 3 behind me, that would be great. But still, this is in effect for at least the next 10 minutes or so. We'll see if it expires. And as of right now, Bill, no update on the warning. Still out there, though. It is moving 25 miles per hour to the northwest. So, folks, you mentioned earlier, Wadmalaw, even some spots in Maggot, Hollywood, definitely heads up for you guys. You want to be in that safe space, take shelter right now.
And this is the couplet right there. You've got max 3 now behind you. You can get a little closer. This is the warning this is the area that we're warning on. And I wonder if they're going to extend this, Steph, off to the northwest a little bit. It looks like it's getting to the edge of the warning polygon right here. So.
Right, maybe even to Hollywood, Ravenel. That's right along 17, so we could even see it move closer to Adams Run. And you mentioned we're seeing a few other small areas of maybe rotation. Not sure what level of the atmosphere that's happening. Of course, it's impossible to know, especially this time of the night when we can't see a thing outside. So that's why you want to take these seriously. Even though they're fast moving, that's how it is with these tropical systems.
Yeah, and this is coming like right to the edge of the polygon right there. And this is the rotation. We look for that. Like I said, the inbound, outbound winds, the inbound being green, the outbound being red. When we see them coupled together there, we see a rotating storm. That's why we were watching this. Actually, we're sitting there watching this off the coast. It could have been a water spout, but clearly it has now moved on into Johns Island. And so if you are up in these areas right here, certainly be in that safe space. In particular, as you look up there toward Humbert Woods down, this is, looks like, this is Marianne Point Drive, and back over toward Chisholm Road. This is Johns Island. Again, as you take a look there, Chisholm Road kind of loops back out over to Main Road. This is Main Road right there. So this storm is going to cross over the Stono River in just a few minutes. So again, it's kind of moving its way toward the Stono River, up toward Chisholm Road. This is Main Road right there. And as we zoom out just a little bit, see if I can't zoom out just a little bit here. I'll back out just a bit, and it'll come out kind of far. But as I zoom out, it gives me kind of a wider shot of what's going on, but I'll get in a little bit closer. So we've got that one couplet there. We got the Stono River here. This is Hollywood, Ravenel, West Ashley. Again, this is Main Road that comes on out toward, Savannah Highway. So a couple of these other areas, too, that we're showing, looks like there's some rotation, but this is the main culprit right there. And again, as we look at that warning, the warning area itself, as we click on the query button right here, you can see we'll touch right there on that warning. And again, this warning goes until 12:45, I do believe.
It's almost at the edge, like you mentioned. It's right on the edge of that polygon, so we'll see if they extend that.
Right, exactly. And again, looking at some of these numbers, so the velocity is not showing very impressive wind speeds with this, but again, as you look at the actual warning, that does expire at 12:45. So we will continue to watch that over the next little while. What you got over there?
I was actually looking earlier just at heights. The storms really don't have anything to talk about in terms of heights, like we just mentioned. But yeah, I'm looking at specifically where that is. You were talking about the inbound, outbound wind, Bill, but right along Chisholm. I actually used to live right off of the road there, over on Johns Island. So definitely take shelter for those folks. It does look like this is moving so close to the edge of this polygon. So it looks like for you guys, really closer to Kiowa. It looks like you're kind of out of the woods at the moment. We still have things rotating offshore, so be aware that things will change. But we're just going to keep a close eye on this, seeing if there are any updates on the warning. Still in effect, no updates on the warning quite yet.
Yeah, we'll see if they extend that further past the polygon itself. But as you mentioned, this is the Stono River, Hollywood right there. So there's a lot of rain here. So this could be also a rain wrap system. The thing about nighttime systems like this is you don't see the systems you just can't see them, and they're usually rain wrapped. left. It's the middle of the night, so you really can't see anything. That's what happened with that one a couple of years ago on Johns Island that I was just talking about that did some of that damage down there towards, I think it was Brownsville Road. But again, as you look at this current situation, we will be looking at, again, this system that's pushing at now to what, 20, 25 miles an hour to the northwest?
25 miles per hour, yeah, moving northwest. So
yeah.
Hollywood, those areas.
Right, exactly. So as I pull up the velocity again, and again, as we zoom on in, you can just see we're right at the edge, actually, of the warning polygon, which is right here. So it's past Kiowa, so you don't have to worry about it down in Kiowa. It's now almost past Johns Island. It is getting a little bit close there toward, looks like, is this Savannah Highway right up there? This is going to be, let's see, right there. This is, yeah, oh, that's Stono Ferry Course. So yeah, so this is the Savannah Highway area. This is 162 right there. So this is kind of jumping the Stono River, heading up in that direction, down 162. So if you're down in Stono Ferry, if you're down by, say, Meggett, Hollywood, you should definitely be in your safe place right now. And again, this may or may not be making it to the ground.
It has expired.
Okay, they have expired the tornado warning.
Yes.
Okay, so that's good news. It looks like it's more diffused at this point.
Right, it does, it does. And like you said, we're thinking it was possibly a water spout, which typically when those move on land, they kind of lose some steam bill, especially in these systems. But like you said, we can't see what's going on because it's night, it's rain wrapped, so we have a lot of factors kind of working against us. So that's why we still have to take this seriously.
Yeah, and again, this is the polygon, and they're going to expire that. They've just expired that, so it looks like that's not going to be a major threat at this point. But it does show you as we zoom out here just a little bit more, put this into motion. The motion is still coming in right here off the ocean, rotating around the big, large circulation of what was Tropical Storm Nicole is now a tropical depression. And again, the mean circulation around this, the giant, circulation is just tapping all that moisture. And you can see the trail of moisture continues with these feeder bands way off the coast. So we're going to watch these over the next few hours.
Yeah, and we actually have an extension with that watch bill until 7 a.m. now.
No, until 7 a.m.
7 a.m.
Watch. Okay.
With quite a few more hours to go. So stay with us as we continue.
Yeah, well, that's because if you go back out and you look at this stuff, I mean, look at this. This is a large circulation. We're talking about this storm not being, it wasn't a major wind event, but it is a large circulation. It's a cyclonic circulation, still a tropical depression, but it's just tapping all that moisture. And there's the center, when you're north and east of the center, the whole sweet spot for tornadic cells is north and east of the center. That's why we are right there in that sweet spot for tornadic activity. And some of these feeder bands that are moving onshore, looks like some of these weakened a little bit offshore here, a little bit, Steph.
Yeah, it does, which is good news, but still want to keep a close on it. You mentioned all of those cells right over the water. It's almost like adding ingredients to make a cake, which is making a tornado warning or that fuel.
Sure.
So that's exactly what we have. But you can see even, I know they haven't issued a new warning with this tornado warning that just expired, but you can even still see a little bit of rotation still left behind over on Johns Island. So even though things might have expired, right over Chisholm actually, it's right off of Main Road. So do keep that in mind. Like I said, it's expired, but you can see that really inward, outward motion of our wind possibly causing some rotation. It could be elevated, maybe not at the surface, but still.
And there's still a whole bunch of rain with this too right now. And that, again, some of these heavy tropical downpours that can cause, some pretty gusty winds in and around some of these actual cells. So you might not have a lot of wind around it, but as these rain bands come up, they can spin up quite a bit of wind, and sometimes you'll get a forward kind of a microburst with these storms as they push forward. That wind comes out of the storm, hits the ground, and then pushes out. And again, that does cause some damage as well. But it looks like that you're looking at the velocity. It looks like that's kind of diffused a little bit.
Yes, it has diffused, which is definitely good news. Still can see it a little bit here on our velocity product, like you mentioned earlier, right around Stono Ferry. So do keep that in mind. Maybe you're hearing some wind. I'm sure you're hearing something outside, even though it's probably not at the surface at this moment. But still, it just gives us a good example of what can happen. And like we mentioned, that has just expired. That polygon vanishing off the map. So some good news there.
Right, but the tornado watch now extended till 7 o'clock in the morning, and that continues up and down the entire South Carolina coast, all the way on up into North Carolina, really pretty much the entire coast here. Because of this onshore flow, it's going to be few hours by the time we get out of the threat for tornadoes. Once the center of the system, once the center of Nicole gets to be perpendicular to us, parallel, to us, we are looking. That's when we get out of the tornadic threat. For example, the folks down here, they're not in any kind of tornadic threat, but we are because of where we are north and east relative to the center. So once that center gets up parallel to us and further north, then we'll get out of that. But it will take a few more hours. That's why that watch has been extended.
Yep, that is right. We'll keep a close eye on things, and like you just mentioned, Bill, as soon as we're really out of that main northeastern quadrant, we still have a ways to go. You can almost draw a line here and just track where exactly that quadrant is, that sweet spot that we get. Some warnings to pop off, so we'll keep a close eye on that. Could see a few more waterspouts form, possibly. We've seen it before, Bill, so could happen into the night.
Let me pull up the, real quick, I'm going to pull up the future product here, and you can actually see that's our algorithm for storm tracks. And again, it's still picking up on that one cell. It does show it as a hail cell, but still it does show that there is
this one.
That one cell was going by. But this is where we are now. I'll put this clock into motion. Notice again, this is that one band by 5 o'clock in the morning is still kind of affecting. This is Charleston up into northern Charleston County. So again, as you look into the future, into the overnight hours, that's why stay weather alert for the overnight hours. We could see some spin ups right along that band, and then that lifts out. So by 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, we might actually see some sunshine mixing with a few clouds. That will destabilize the atmosphere again into the afternoon as we make our way through lunchtime, 1, 2 o'clock. You see this secondary pops of showers. Again, we'll have enough moisture, lobes of moisture coming on through with some afternoon heating, and of course the lift from the system might create another shower or thunderstorm into our afternoon on Friday. And then notice by Friday evening, it all starts to pull out of here. The whole thing will be pretty much gone after that. So again, as you look at a live picture out there right now, we had a little lightning in the distance, but again, we are looking at just mostly moderate to heavy rain right now in those cells, but really nothing as far as anything. We don't have any tornado warnings at this point, so
nope.
That's good. So we'll continue to monitor this through the overnight hours. If another tornado warning hits, we'll jump on right away as we did this time.
Yep.
Also on the app 24/7, download that. It's absolutely free, something good to have. We'll continue to track this here throughout the night. For Stephanie Stein, I'm Chief Meteorologist Bill Walsh. Have a super night, but hopefully we'll not have to jump back on, but we will be here if we have to, so stick around.
Same